Let's take your advanced English to the final level of fluency, understanding native speakers and speaking like a native speaker. In this video, not only will you enrich your vocabulary with advanced words and phrases, but you'll also have the unique opportunity to listen to an experienced real estate agent from Los Angeles. Raquel will explain to us the process of buying and selling a house in the United States. And there will be a fill-in-the-blank quiz at the end to test your knowledge of the words and expressions you learned in this video. Many of you have told me in the comments that you would like to learn more vocabulary and expressions for buying and selling a house in the United States. Thank you for those comments. I listened, so this is part 3 of my conversation with a real estate agent in Los Angeles. She was holding an open house and I came to visit her. And while I was talking to Raquel, somebody came in to look at the open house. And you will see that part of the conversation that Raquel had with the potential buyer. You will learn to talk about buying and selling houses like a native speaker. For example, a non-native speaker might say, "This neighborhood is very popular. Everyone wants to live here." But a native speaker might say, "This neighborhood is very sought after." Raquel used the expression sought after. Also, a non-native speaker might say, "There are not enough houses available for sale." But a native speaker might say, "Inventory is lagging." They would use the word lagging and the word inventory. Also, a non-native speaker might say, "Prices are not decreasing, prices are not going down." But a native speaker might say, "Prices are holding." What is a credit score and why is it so important when you're buying a house or a car or even if you're trying to rent an apartment? And what is a pre-approval letter? Why do you need it? And what does an underwriter do? Raquel used these expressions plus many more. In the first part of the video that you will watch now, you will listen to Raquel describe how house prices differ from one neighborhood to another. She used the adjective sought after. Let's listen.
Cities and neighborhoods that have better schools are considered more desirable.
Therefore, a house in a good school district will cost more?
And it'd be more sought after, correct?
Raquel said that houses in good school districts are more sought after. Sought after is an adjective and it means desired, wanted by a lot of people, and it's hard to get, or in demand. In Los Angeles County, the quality of the schools can be different depending on the school district. And that's a very important factor to people with children. They want their children to go to the best schools, right? So if the school district is good, the prices are higher in that neighborhood. Their children are getting a better education, so they don't have to pay extra money to send their children to private schools because the public school is very good in a particular neighborhood. So we can say this neighborhood is sought after, and that means a lot of people want to live there, and that's why the prices are higher. And sought is the past participle of the verb to seek. So it's seek, sought, sought. And that means to search, to look for. And we can also use sought after like this. We can say engineers are highly sought after in the Silicon Valley. Or we can say this is the most sought after design. It's the most popular design. Everybody likes it. Let's learn the meaning of the word lot. It's not a lot, it's lot. It's a noun. Let's listen to Raquel.
It's a nice sized lot. A lot of times, the closer you get to the beach, the smaller the lot.
Raquel said that the house has a nice size lot. And she said a lot of times, the closer you get to the beach, the smaller the lot. A lot is an area of land where people build something. You can say, this house has a big lot. So when we want to ask about the size of the house, there are 2 different questions we ask. For example, if we want to know about the living space, the inside of the house, we can ask, what is the square footage? What is the square footage of the house? But if we want to know about the size of the land, then we ask, what is the lot size? Or what is the size of the lot? So, two different questions. What is the square footage? And what is the lot size? And we can use lot this way. We can say, we bought a lot. We bought an empty lot. And that means we bought a piece of land because we want to build a house on that lot. Let's listen to the way Raquel and I use the word holding. And how are prices doing? Are they holding?
If the home is priced accurately, they're holding and they're selling fast.
I asked Raquel, how are prices? Are they holding? And if prices are holding, it means they're maintaining their current level. They're not decreasing. The prices are stable. They're not going down. They're holding. And we can use holding this way. According to financial analysts, real estate prices will continue to hold. They're still holding. Or we can say the weather forecast predicts that the sunny weather will be holding for the entire weekend. Let's learn the meaning of the word listings. Let's listen to Raquel.
Right now there's 14 listings in Mar Vista. There's still more buyers than there are homes.
Really?
Yes, so inventory is lagging a little bit.
A listing is a property that is available for sale. A house or a condominium or a townhouse that is advertised by a real estate agent. And Raquel said, right now there are 14 listings in Mar Vista. And Mar Vista is a neighborhood in Los Angeles. There are 14 listings. And we can use listing like this. We can say, whose listing is this? And that means, who is the agent that is helping the buyer to sell the house? We can also use the verb to list. We can say, I plan to list my house. And that means I plan to put my house up for sale. I plan to sell my house. And we can use to list in the past tense. We can say, I listed my house last month. I listed it last month. Let's learn the meaning of the adjective lagging. Let's listen to Raquel.
Right now there's 14 listings in Mar Vista. There's still more buyers than there are homes.
Really?
Yes, so inventory is lagging a little bit.
Raquel said inventory is lagging a little bit. And inventory means all the houses that are available for sale. So if there are many houses available for sale, you can say there is a lot of inventory. Or if there are not many houses available for sale, you can say inventory is low. There are not enough houses for sale. There are more buyers than sellers. Inventory is low. We can also say inventory is lagging. To lag means to fail to keep up at the desired levels, or to stay behind, or to fall behind, or to move or to develop more slowly than others. So we can say, I was running fast, but my friend was lagging behind. Or we can say, the student's test scores are lagging because he missed several classes. During the open house, while Raquel and I were talking, a potential buyer came in to look at the house. Let's listen to the conversation. She used the word feasible. Let's listen.
Hi, welcome.
I don't know who I'm saying hi to, but hi.
What do you think of townhomes?
It's probably more feasible for me because I'm really just looking for me.
Raquel asked, what do you think of townhomes? And she answered, it's probably more feasible for me. If something is feasible, it means it can work. For example, a plan or an idea or a method that is feasible is likely to work. It's doable. But if it's not feasible, it won't work. It can't be done. It can't be accomplished. So she said, a townhome is more feasible for me. And a townhome is less expensive than a single family home. This is a townhome, and this is a single family home. And she said townhomes are probably more feasible for her because they're less expensive. For example, we can say, I would love to live in this neighborhood, but it's not financially feasible. Or we can say, your proposal sounds quite feasible. Or, it is technically feasible, but we must consider the risks. Let's learn the meaning of HOA. Let's listen to Raquel.
What's your top HOA thing?
Raquel asked the buyer, "What is your top HOA?" And HOA means Homeowners Association. And HOA fees are the fees you pay every month to the Homeowners Association. It's the monthly cost to maintain the outside area of the condos or of the townhouses. For example, the cost of the gardening or maintaining it, such as painting, paying for a new roof, and all of the other types of maintenance costs. You pay a monthly HOA fee. And in Los Angeles, the HOA fees can vary depending on the building that you live in. They can be anywhere between $300 to maybe even $1,000 or maybe even more than $1,000 per month. So it's very important to find out those fees before you decide to buy a townhouse or a condominium. So when Raquel said, "What is your top HOA?" that means how much do you think you can afford per month for HOA fees? Have you considered that? Have you thought about that? A lot of people don't. And then when it's time to make monthly payments, they have the mortgage payment, which is the money they owe to the bank, and then they have the HOA fees plus the property tax, which is pretty high in California. Let's learn something very common. Native speakers say this all the time. Repeat after me. "I'm sorry, I didn't get your name." Let's listen to Raquel.
Well, welcome. And I'm so sorry, I didn't get your name.
Oh, my name's Kim.
Oh, Raquel. And that's Lisa. Lisa, the teacher.
When you're having a conversation with someone and you realize that you don't know their name because they didn't tell you their name, you can say, "I'm sorry, I didn't get your name." Or maybe they told you their name already, but you didn't hear it clearly. You weren't paying attention, or you forgot their name. Then you can say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." So 2 ways to say it. "I'm sorry, I didn't get your name," or "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." Let's listen to the way some other people used it.
I didn't get your name.
You know what? I didn't get your name.
Oh, it's Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
When you're getting a loan from the bank to buy a house, when you're borrowing money for the house, there is a process called underwriting. Let's listen to Raquel use the word underwritten.
Are you underwritten?
Being underwritten. So basically, let's say for instance, she's obviously a buyer. She wants to purchase a home, so she puts in an offer.
Right.
She's not underwritten, but she has a pre-approval letter. The gentleman that's outside is another buyer, and he wants to purchase, and he wants to put in an offer. He puts in an offer that has been underwritten. There's a good chance they're going to go with him because it's underwritten. Underwritten just means that she has a soft credit check being done on her. When you're underwritten, it means that they're ready to rock and roll. They're ready to move forward. They've done bank statements. It's a deeper dive into the financials. It's more research done on the person's credit to make sure that they can qualify to purchase a home.
Got it.
Right.
Underwriting means the bank checks your income, your debt, and all of the other details to issue a final approval for the loan. It's a deep examination of your financial situation to find out if you qualify for the loan to buy a house. And an underwriter is a person who does the research on your financial situation and on your credit history. So when you want to buy a house to get a loan, the underwriter looks at things like how much money you make, how much money you owe, and how you used your money in the past. They want to make sure that you can pay back the money that you borrowed. Raquel said she's not underwritten, but she has a pre-approval letter. Let's learn about that. Let's listen to Raquel.
She's not underwritten, but she has a pre-approval letter.
A pre-approval letter is a letter that the bank writes, and the buyer gives the letter to the owner to let them know that they have been pre-approved for a loan. The letter says that the buyer is qualified to buy the house. They can afford to buy the house. So if you want to buy a house, but you don't have a pre-approval letter from the bank, the seller has no idea if you have the money to buy the house. Maybe you don't make enough money to pay the mortgage each month. Or maybe you're not a serious buyer and you're just wasting the seller's time. So it's very important to have a pre-approval letter. And you can say this: I have been pre-approved. I have been pre-approved by the bank. We can say the buyer has been pre-approved for the amount of $700,000. and that means that's the maximum amount that the buyer can afford. So if they find a house that's $1 million and they fall in love with it, the bank will not give them the money for that amount because they are pre-approved for $700,000. But according to Raquel, these days you should also be underwritten. It's not enough to be pre-approved, you also should be underwritten. Let's listen to Raquel explain it.
The gentleman that's outside is another buyer and he wants to purchase and he wants to put in an offer. He puts in an offer that has been underwritten. There's a good chance we're going to go with him because it's underwritten. Underwritten just means that she has a soft credit check being done on her. When you're underwritten, it means that they're ready to rock and roll, they're ready to move forward. They've done bank statements. It's a deeper dive into the financials. It's more research done on the person's credit to make sure that they can qualify to purchase a home.
Got it.
Right.
Raquel was comparing two different types of people who are interested in buying a house. They both make an offer to buy the house. They put in an offer to the seller. One person has a pre-approval letter, but another person has been underwritten. The person who is underwritten has a better chance of getting the house because the seller is more confident that the buyer will actually get the loan from the bank. The seller is taking less risk by accepting an offer from the person who has been underwritten. Okay, let's learn some more vocabulary. What is the difference between man and gentleman? Why do we sometimes say there is a man outside versus there is a gentleman outside? For the pronunciation, that T can be silent. We can say gentleman or we can say gentleman. Raquel said, the gentleman that's outside.
The gentleman that's outside is another buyer. The gentleman that's outside is another buyer.
There was another person who came to the open house and he was in the backyard. Raquel was using him as an example. She said, the gentleman that's outside is another buyer. Gentleman is a more polite way to say man, especially if you don't know him or in a formal business situation. It's much more polite to say gentleman than man. And of course, you've heard people say ladies and gentlemen. The singular form and the plural form are pronounced the same way. Listen, gentlemen, gentlemen. And that's because the syllable is not stressed. So we don't say gentleman and gentlemen. We say gentlemen for both of them. Let's go on to the next expression. Let's learn the phrasal verb to put in. Let's listen to the way Raquel used it.
He puts in an offer that has been underwritten.
Raquel said he puts in an offer. To put in means to submit an offer, to make an offer. We can say, I'd like to put in an offer. Or the buyer put in an offer and the seller accepted it. Let's practice using the phrasal verb to put in. We can say, I put in a request for a day off from work next week. Or, I put in my application for a scholarship. Or, I don't feel like cooking tonight. Let's put in an order for pizza. To put in is a phrasal verb that I teach in my new course, Phrasal Verbs for Fluent English. The phrasal verb to put in has other meanings. I teach 3 different meanings of to put in the course. It's in video number 17. There are 21 total videos, 21 lessons. That way, you can master the most important phrasal verbs in just 21 days, in just 3 weeks. There are also many practice exercises and questions for speaking practice and multiple choice quizzes, and very importantly, downloadable audio of the entire course. That way, you can practice listening even if you're not online. There are almost 1,000 sentences using the phrasal verbs in different contexts so that you can truly grasp, really understand how they're used, and that way you can feel comfortable using them yourself. And Drake is my assistant in the course. So I explain the meaning and I give you sample sentences, and Drake also gives you examples so that you can see how he's using them in different contexts. The course is not available yet, but it's coming soon, so make sure you get on my mailing list so that you can find out when the course is released. To get on the mailing list, click on the link below and I will let you know when the course is available. Let's listen to the other meanings of the phrasal verb to put in. Let's listen to the course where I'm explaining it and Drake is explaining it as well. Let's learn 3 different meanings of to put in. Let's listen to Drake explain the first meaning.
Put in is another way to say that you're installing something. You can say that you're putting in a pool in your backyard. We're putting in a pool this summer. Las Vegas is very hot. I would suggest anyone that lives in Las Vegas to put in a pool in their backyard. You can put in speaker systems. You can put in a TV. Anything that you have to install into something, you can say you're putting that in.
To put in means to install or to place something in a specific location. For example, the workers put in new windows. Or the electrician will put in new wiring next week. We hope to put in a pool in the backyard. Let's listen to Drake explain the second meaning of to put in.
To put in effort is to apply a lot of effort. To put in a lot of hours is to spend a lot of hours. You know, you can say that you put in a lot of hours painting this giant painting, and that means that you spent a lot of time, a lot of hours were put into that painting. I put a lot of time into the boxing gym.
How much time do you put in per day or per week?
I put in about 2 hours per day in the boxing gym.
Wow.
Yeah.
To put in means to spend a lot of time or effort doing something. To make an effort or to apply energy toward a goal. I put in many hours on this presentation. I put in a lot of effort to finish the project on time. You can also say, he puts in long hours at the office every day. And that means he works for many hours. They put in a lot of work to renovate the old house. This house looks beautiful. You must have put in a lot of hours fixing it up. How much time did you put in? Let's learn the next meaning of to put in. Let's listen to Drake.
Putting in can also mean that you're going to be calling someone. So you can put in a phone call. I'm going to put in a call. You're going to contact someone. This city is really going to trash. I'm going to put in a phone call to them and have a word with them.
To put in also means to make a phone call or to contact someone, especially an official if you have something important to talk about or to complain about. For example, I put in a complaint to the customer service department. Or I plan to put in a call to the supplier to find out about my order. In the course, Drake and I teach you 32 phrasal verbs just with put. There are so many different ways we can use put. To put in, to put out, to put up with. All of these have different meanings, and native speakers use these phrasal verbs all the time. If you don't understand something a native speaker said, it's likely they are using a phrasal verb. In this course, you will not only understand native speakers, but you will also be able to speak like them. You know about rock and roll, right? But let's listen to the way Raquel used the expression, ready to rock and roll.
When you're underwritten, it means that they're ready to rock and roll, they're ready to move forward.
Raquel said, when somebody is underwritten, it means they are ready to rock and roll. They're ready to move forward. If you say ready to rock and roll, it means ready to do something exciting, ready to begin an activity. We can also say, let's rock and roll. And that means, let's do it, let's begin, let's go. Let's listen to how some other people used it.
Where people come to get inspired to start the day off right, so let's get ready to rock and roll.
Okay, we're bubbling, we're thick, we're ready to rock and roll.
Sneakers, comfortable clothes, and we'll be ready to rock and roll.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Of course, let's rock and roll.
Let's learn the idiom, a deeper dive. Let's listen to the way Raquel used it.
We've done bank statements. It's a deeper dive into the financials.
Raquel said, a deeper dive into the financials. A deeper dive means a closer look or a more detailed examination. For example, we can say, we decided to take a deeper dive into the data. We decided to look into it more closely, to examine it more closely. We took a deeper dive. And the financials means all of your financial information, your financial situation. For example, your income, your expenses. That means how much money you spend each month. Your assets, everything you own, and your liabilities. And that means what you owe, and your credit history. Those are your financials. If you live in the United States, you probably already know the importance of a good credit score. We say credit or a credit score. Let's listen to Raquel.
It's more research done on the person's credit to make sure that they can qualify to purchase a home.
Raquel said it's more research done on the person's credit to make sure that they can qualify for a purchase of a home. We can say a person's credit or a person's credit score. Anytime you want to get a loan from the bank to buy a house or to buy a car, for example, or to rent an apartment or to get a credit card, they will need to find out your credit score. They will check your credit. For example, a typical home loan requires a credit score of at least 620. But it's ideal to have a credit score of 740 or above, and that will allow you to make a lower down payment and to get a better interest rate. So a person's credit score is very, very important if you'd like to buy a house or if you'd like to even rent an apartment or get a new credit card. They will want to check your credit score. And how do you get a good credit score? By paying everything on time, your apartment, your telephone bill, your utilities. But if you don't pay those bills on time, they will report you to the credit bureau, and that will affect your credit score. And if your credit score is low, banks will not trust you. They will not want to give you a loan, or they will give you the loan, but the interest rate will be much higher. Let's look at this image for a car loan. Look at how much lower your interest rate can be if your credit score is high. For example, someone with a credit score of over 720 would get a loan at 3.65%, but someone with a low credit score would get a loan for 14.39% interest on a new car. And for a used car, it would be 20.25% interest. You see the difference? That's why a credit score is so important. We can say, I can't get a loan because my credit score is low. Or you can say, he has a bad credit score. Or he has bad credit. If you're interested in buying a house in Los Angeles, you can reach Raquel by email or on Instagram. Her email address is raquel@soldbyarea.com. And her Instagram is raquel.r.rivera. And now it's time for your review quiz. Let's find out how many of these words and expressions you remember. Let's look at the first question. If you want to say it's not possible, it can't be done, it's not doable, you can say it's not blank. Feasible. It's not feasible. Did you remember that one? Which verb means that something or someone is not keeping up at the desired level? It is falling behind, or it's moving more slowly than something else. We can say it's blank. Lagging. It's lagging, or they are lagging. Let's go on to the next one. If we want to say this neighborhood is desirable, everyone wants to live here, we can say this neighborhood is blank. 2 words. Sought after. Sought after. This neighborhood is sought after. Did you get that one right? Let's go on to the next one. If we want to say we bought a house on a big piece of land, we can say we bought a house that has a large blank. Lot. A large lot. If we want to say the prices are staying at the same level, they're not going down, they're not decreasing, we can say prices are blank. Holding, prices are holding. If I'm looking at all the different houses that are available for sale in the neighborhood, we can say I am looking at all the blank in this neighborhood. Listings. Listings. Let's go on to the next one. If you want to say to someone, I'm sorry, I don't know your name because you didn't tell me your name, you can say, I'm sorry, I didn't blank your name. What's the verb? Get. I didn't get your name. And there's one more expression that's very similar. Maybe the person said their name, but you were not paying attention or you didn't hear it. In that case, we would say, I'm sorry, I didn't blank your name. It's a different verb. What is it? Catch. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Let's go on to the next one. To say, I made an offer to buy a house, you can say, I blank an offer to buy a house. 2 words, and it's a phrasal verb. Put in. I put in an offer. And here is the final question. If we want to look more closely into the details of the situation, we can say we want to do a deeper blank. Dive. A deeper dive. Okay, that's it for the quiz. Did you make any mistakes? If you got all of them correct, or if you only made one mistake, congratulations, you did a very good job. But if not, I recommend that you watch this video again and maybe even take notes or pause and make your own sentences and say them out loud. That way you're much more likely to remember them if you're actually using them yourself by making your own sentences something related to your own life. And keep learning phrasal verbs and keep learning idiomatic expressions. Every time you hear a new expression, you're not familiar with it, write it down and then look it up online and find out the meaning. Thanks for watching and keep practicing your English. To get the 2 courses, the American Accent course and the 400 advanced words you must know for fluent English, go to accurateenglish.com.